Nonito Donaire doesn't just fight, he finishes. With sniper precision and a left hook that shattered world champions. The Filipino Flash built a career on moments that leave crowds gasping and opponents crumbling. He's not just fast, he's frightening. Not just a legend, but a legacy in motion. In a sport where youth is king, Donaire rewrote the rules, winning world titles in 4 weight classes across 3 different decades. And he didn't stop there. Behind the gloves is a multi-millionaire living the life fighters dream of, roaring through Vegas in a Ferrari, commanding respect in every room he enters, and standing tall as a symbol of pride for an entire nation. But his story isn't just about titles, cars, or luxury. It's about pain, comebacks, that warrior code that says, even when the world doubts you, you show up and make them believe. So before we unpack the life, career, and cold-blooded rise of one of boxing's most dangerous legends, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because this isn't just a boxing story, it's a warning to anyone who ever underestimated Nonito Donaire. Before he became the Filipino Flash, before the world knew his name, Nonito Donaire was just a quiet, insecure boy from the Philippines, bullied, overlooked, and constantly living in the shadow of others. Born on November 16, 1982, in the small town of Talibon, Bohol, his early life didn't hint at the greatness that would one day follow. He grew up in General Santos City, a humble place that, by sheer fate, also happened to be home to another future boxing legend, Manny Pacquiao. But unlike Pacquiao, who always seemed to carry a defiant fire, Donaire spent much of his childhood feeling invisible, fragile in stature, reserved in demeanor, and burdened with a heavy sense of self-doubt. At home, the spotlight belonged to his older brother, Glenn, who had begun boxing under the guidance of their father, a former amateur fighter. But life would soon take a sharp turn. At 11 years old, Nonito was sent to the United States to live with his father in California. It was meant to be a fresh start, but adjusting to a new country wasn't easy. He struggled to fit in and often felt like an outsider. Seeking a way to bond with his father and brother, he reluctantly stepped into the gym. At first, boxing felt like a chore, something he did for approval rather than passion. But then something shifted. The more he trained, the more he discovered a hidden fire, a growing confidence with every punch thrown and every round sparred. He began to mimic the legendary left hook of Alexis Arguello, his boxing idol, and soon enough, the kid once mocked for being weak was now dropping jaws in the ring. Together with his brother Glenn, he began racking up wins in the amateur circuit, capturing local titles and catching the attention of boxing enthusiasts. But it was clear early on, this wasn't just talent. It was obsession. It was survival. Every jab, every knockout was a fight against the ghosts of his past. By the time he turned professional, he was a different man. His speed was electric, his punches devastating, and his confidence unshakable. The nickname, the Filipino Flash, wasn't just clever branding, it was a warning. Blink, and you'd miss the knockout. His rise was swift, and his performances were unforgettable. He conquered weight class after weight class, eventually becoming a world champion in 4 different divisions, from flyweight to featherweight. In an era dominated by giants, Donaire carved out his own legend, delivering highlight reel knockouts that earned him not 1, but 2 Knockout of the Year awards from the Ring magazine. In 2011, he climbed as high as number 3 on the Ring's pound-for-pound list, and the following year, he was named Fighter of the Year by the Boxing Writers Association of America. But even those accolades barely scratched the surface of what he would go on to achieve. At age 38, long past the age most fighters hang up their gloves, Donaire became the oldest boxer ever to win a bantamweight world title. He joined the rarest of company, just one of 6 boxers in history to hold titles across 3 different decades, alongside legends like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. His net worth, now estimated at around $5 million, is just a number, because what truly defines him isn't wealth or belts, but the journey. His professional boxing journey is the kind of story that feels almost too dramatic to be true, a tale of grit, redemption, and an unrelenting pursuit of greatness. When he stepped into the ring for his professional debut in 2001, it wasn't with fireworks or a roar of expectation. He turned pro quietly, alongside his brother Glenn, fueled more by raw ambition than polished hype. But right from the beginning, the path was anything but smooth. In only his second fight, Donaire suffered a controversial loss, a decision that stung deeper than the punches he'd taken. For many fighters, an early setback like that could have spelled the end. But for Donaire, it lit a fire. The sting of defeat became his motivation, a silent vow that he would never be overlooked again. In 2002, that fire ignited in the ring when he stopped Thailand's Kaishan Sorvorapin to claim his first regional title. It was a glimpse of what was to come, a flash, if you will, of the power and precision he was beginning to harness. Still, few could have predicted the storm that would follow just a few years later. The real breakout came in 2007, a night that would change everything. Donaire stepped into the ring against the undefeated and feared Vic Darcinian for the IBF and IBO flyweight titles. Nearly everyone had written him off. Darcinian was seen as too powerful, too relentless. But in the fifth round, Donaire unleashed a left hook so devastating, it sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Darcinian crumbled, and with that single punch, Donaire's name was etched into boxing history. It wasn't just a knockout, it was an arrival. He walked out of that ring not only a world champion, but the owner of Ring Magazine's Knockout of the Year and Upset of the Year awards. Overnight, he became a national hero, honored by then Philippine President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, and hailed as the heir to Manny Pacquiao's throne. From there, his career soared. He defended his flyweight titles with ease and soon parted ways with his early promoter to sign with Top Rank, stepping into a bigger arena with bigger opportunities. In 2009, he captured the WBA interim super flyweight title with a clinical dismantling of Rafael Concepcion. By now, his style was unmistakable, blazing hand speed, a sniper's accuracy, and a left hook that could end fights in an instant. His growing fan base watched in awe as he climbed weight divisions like a man chasing history. Then came 2011, a defining year. He faced Mexico's Fernando Montiel for the WBC and WBO bantamweight titles. Montiel was no pushover. He was a battle-tested champion with grit and heart. But Donaire needed only 2 rounds to end the night. Another thunderous left hook. Another knockout. Another statement to the world. This victory didn't just add more belts to his collection. It drew praise from the highest levels of government. The Philippines Senate honored him, and fans back home embraced him as one of their own. But he wasn't done. Never one to stay comfortable. He moved up again, this time to the super bantamweight division. There in 2012, he defeated Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. for the WBO title and then unified the division by adding the IBF belt after outclassing Jeffrey Mathebula. His accolades continued to pile up, and with each win, he solidified his place as one of the sport's most feared and respected fighters. That same year, he was named Fighter of the Year by the Boxing Writers Association of America, joining a club of legends. Yet, even legends meet their match. In 2013, Donaire stepped into the ring with Cuban maestro Guillermo Rigondeaux, an elite defensive wizard with surgical counterpunching. What followed was a chess match of the highest order. Donaire fought bravely, but Rigondeaux's elusive style proved difficult to crack. After 12 tough rounds, Donaire lost by decision. His remarkable 12-year winning streak had come to an end. For the first time in a long while, he had to stare down the bitter taste of defeat, not as a prospect, but as a champion. But if there's one thing that defines Donaire, it's his resilience. He didn't fold. He didn't walk away. Instead, he moved up once again, this time to featherweight. In 2014, he battled Simphiwe Vettiika for the WBA Super Featherweight title. Despite a cut from an accidental headbutt, Donaire pressed forward, dropped Vettiika, and walked away with yet another world championship in a higher weight class. He was rewriting the blueprint of a career, pushing boundaries others feared to touch. And yet, his most inspiring chapter was still to come. Years later, after many thought his prime had passed, Donaire returned to bantamweight, the division where it all began. In 2018, He entered the World Boxing Super Series, a tournament stacked with the sport's elite. Many doubted him and even called him too old. But Donaire proved them wrong at every turn, advancing to the finals where he faced the fearsome Japanese phenom, Naoya Inoue, the monster. The fight that followed in 2019 was nothing short of legendary. For 12 rounds, the two warriors traded blows in one of the most thrilling and brutal contests of the decade. At one point, Donaire landed a punch so fierce it fractured Inoue's orbital bone, a reminder that age hadn't dulled his power. Though he lost the decision, he won something greater, the admiration of fans around the world. That night, he wasn't just a challenger, he was a warrior, and their bout was crowned Fight of the Year. Still hungry, still fighting, he continued to defy time. In 2021, at 38 years old, he knocked out Nonito to reclaim the WBC bantamweight title, becoming the oldest bantamweight champion in boxing history. His longevity, unmatched. His determination, unbreakable. His place in history, undeniable. Today, he stands as a symbol of excellence, not just for the Filipino people, but for boxing itself. Beyond the spotlight of the boxing ring, his life tells a quieter, yet equally powerful story. One of love, family, and deep devotion to the people and country that shaped him. In 2008, at the height of his rising fame, Donaire found something even more important than a championship belt. He found Rachel Marcial, a fierce competitor in her own right. Rachel was a former Taekwondo champion, dominating both the U.S. collegiate and military circuits. Their connection went beyond the physical. She understood the discipline, the mental warfare, the sacrifice it took to thrive in combat sports. On August 8th of that year, they were married in an intimate ceremony in Carmel, California. 3 years later, they reaffirmed their vows in a church service in the Philippines, a heartfelt moment that symbolized not just a bond between two people, but a bridge between continents and cultures. She wasn't just his wife. She became an integral part of Donaire's career. As his manager and coach, she was often seen in his corner, not only guiding strategy, but anchoring him emotionally through victories and setbacks alike. Their partnership was rare in the fight game, rooted in mutual respect, trust, and a shared commitment to their family. Together, they raised two sons, Jarrell Michael and Jarrell Logan, and built a home grounded in values far from the chaos of the spotlight. In 2013, Rachel's courage took center stage when she jumped into action to save a drowning child, despite being pregnant at the time. The incident left her with injuries, but she made a full recovery, along with their unborn baby. Though the Donaires had long been based in the United States, Nonito never lost touch with his Filipino roots. In August 2023, he formally reacquired Filipino citizenship, a moment that marked more than just paperwork. It was a homecoming of the heart, a symbolic return to the place that first ignited his dreams, where young boys with bare fists and big hopes saw themselves in his story. And he didn't return empty-handed. Over the years, Donaire has quietly but consistently poured into the very communities that cheered him on. When Typhoon Odette ravaged parts of the Philippines, he mobilized efforts to raise funds and send critical aid, showing that his compassion hit just as hard as his left hook. But his reach extended far beyond disaster relief. He championed causes close to his heart, promoting youth sports programs, mental health awareness, and physical wellness initiatives. He believed deeply that the next generation of champions didn't need to come from wealth or privilege. They just needed opportunity, encouragement, and someone to believe in them. Whether it was through donations to educational programs or speaking directly to underprivileged children about chasing their dreams, he made it clear that his mission was bigger than boxing. Nonito Donaire lives a life that mirrors the grace, precision, and power he's known for in the ring. While he keeps much of his personal sanctuary out of the public eye, glimpses of his Las Vegas home reveal a space designed for peace, luxury, and family. An oasis where the chaos of the fight game fades into quiet moments of reflection. It's a place where he can unwind, recharge, and simply be dad and husband, far from the demands of training camps and championship bouts. But his taste for excellence doesn't stop at the front door. on the streets. He moves with the same intensity and flair that made him famous in the ring, behind the wheels of some of the world's most coveted machines. His car collection tells a story, each vehicle a reflection of a different side of the champion. There's the Ferrari 458 Italia, sleek and aggressive, a machine built for speed and performance. Its roaring V8 engine and razor-sharp design echo the very spirit of Donaire's fighting style. Explosive, precise, unforgettable. For days when power needs to meet elegance, there's the Porsche Panamera. Equal parts performance sedan and luxury cruiser. It's a car that blends muscle with refinement. Much like Donaire himself, a fighter with both brute force and surgical skill. Then comes the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, the crown jewel of understated sophistication. With its whisper-quiet ride and cutting-edge technology, it's a vehicle that speaks to a man who has fought hard for his comfort and knows the value of every quiet moment. And when family calls or the road gets a little rougher, Donaire turns to the dependable Range Rover. Rugged yet elegant, spacious yet commanding. It's the kind of SUV that fits perfectly into a life that juggles the demands of fatherhood, fame, and adventure. Whether he's taking his sons on a weekend outing or just cruising through the Nevada landscape, he does it all in style. More than just material symbols, these cars, and the life he's built, are markers of a journey hard-earned. From the dusty streets of General Santos to global arenas, Donaire's rise was never guaranteed. Every luxury, every comfortable corner of his home, every finely tuned engine in his garage, each represents years of sacrifice, countless hours in the gym, and punches taken and given. His lifestyle is not about showing off. It's about celebrating how far he's come and savoring the rewards of a legacy still in motion. Before you go, don't miss out on exclusive perks. Click the link in the description to become a channel member and enjoy awesome benefits, like suggesting future video topics, getting early access to new content 48 hours before anyone else, and much more. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing you the stories you love. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. And while you're here, why not check out our deep dive into Marvin Hagler's video? Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.